Hello traders, welcome to today's video. Now I know I have not been doing enough of these updates for you recently, so that is what we are going to do today. We're going to focus on the Bitcoin charts, we're going to also look at Ethereum, and we will take a quick look at the legacy markets as usual. I've put myself onto the other side of the screen today because it means the little flickery background until I sort that out. When it's daytime, it's just a little bit bright in here, so it captures some of the background, so I may need to do a green screen or something, but yeah, it kind of makes more sense for me to be on this side of the screen anyway, I guess. But yes, let's get into the price action then. So first of all, Bitcoin, okay, we moved down and hit the daily level. So if we are looking at the range as a whole, this down here, an untapped daily level, we do have one more below us down here at 15,765. But we had that move down last night that just nicely just popped into that, and then we've had a decent bounce from there. Okay, so that daily level there giving us the bounce, which has now seen us temporarily, break through that bearish market structure. But we're not really holding above there or anything just yet. So for now, just a bounce, but potential that this could continue to go a little bit higher as we go in towards the rest of the day here. What else have we had? If we go down onto the let's look at the TPO. So this bounce gave us a move straight into the MPOC. Now this is what I was hoping to get yesterday. I would have really liked to have seen the weekend highs taken out, then to get a move into that previous week POC and the 17k POC that we had from December the 16th before getting another drop further down. But because we've done it the other way with that drop first and then getting the bounce, it makes this a little bit more tricky to trade. So in terms of the lower time frames, what I'm actually looking for now is I still think we've got a pretty decent chance of going higher. I'm looking at the weekly level, so this is the previous week open, as a really good little target for this. So what we do have up there is basically the liquidity up here above those Friday highs, okay, which is exactly at that previous week open. So if we can get a move up into that, and then I want to see it go slightly further because we have some further confluence just above there. So if I do just open this up and we just put this on here, then what we have are the single prints. We've got the previous we've got the monthly VWAP, we've got the 200 4-hour EMA, and we've got the previous week open. Okay, so you can see previous week open on the charts. If I am to add on the VWAPs and just put on the monthly, do this here. There is your monthly VWAP coming in right around that same zone, that 17k to 17,200 zone up there. What else did I say? The 200 4-hour EMA. So I just flip over onto this, and you can see that just coming up within that is that 200 EMA starting to come down. Now this is actually quite a nice strategy that I do like to trade. The 4-hour EMAs are fairly good. I don't check them all that often, but generally speaking, once you start to get a low like that being put in, a tap towards the 200 is often quite likely, and then you would come down and retrace and start to coil them all together, and these EMAs would start to coil in together. Okay, the other thing that we do have for further confluence down there is if we're looking at the 200 SMA VWAP bands on the 30-minute time frame, then our standard deviations are coming in and are really starting to close in on price here. So what I'd really like to see is a push up towards this upper boundary. Again, that 17,100 to 17,200 zone, push up against the upper boundary before getting that corrective move. And you can see the respect that this does get. It is generally quite good. We are coiling in here, so this has like a Bollinger Band kind of effect, where you can expect price to, having bounced down to the lows into that midpoint, lose that volatility and then move its way back up towards the highs, and then you'll start to see this expanding back out again. So yeah, that's that on Bitcoin. We're seeing this continuous bullish CVD on spot, but I don't think that's too significant. We're actually getting quite big divergences between what spot is doing and what perps are doing. So you can see actually like price is kind of hovering in the middle here, with perps being fairly bullish and expecting a move up, and spot a lot of selling going on. So is that just a case that we're it's Christmas. People are selling their Bitcoin. People are bearish. People need money to survive. And is that really what's going on here? So not too much to look into it, but it is interesting nonetheless. I am still thinking more downside is likely, but I do think we can pop up to that 17,200 level before we do get a further move to the downside. So that really is my thoughts on Bitcoin. Ideally for myself, I'm looking at a little bit of something like this, where let's bring this back on, and I'd like to see, I'm not sure about the move down anymore. We kind of had that, okay, we kind of had that here and took out some local lows. But a move up in towards that 17,100 to 17,200 before getting a retrace. And then what you can look at is basically continuing this range. Are we going to get a move back down towards the lows of this range, which would line up nicely with the golden pocket, depending on where that ends up. So let's say we end up around here. Then you do have that 618 coming in nicely around about these lows, and then you could look to take a short position here and then flip that into a long, where I do have other targets at 17,600. So ultimately you're looking at short positions, get back into longs, up into here, and then potential move back down towards the lows of the range after that. So that would be very, very nice for me if we do get something along those lines playing out. That would be very good to trade, and relatively straightforward with the confluence and everything that we've got there. On Ethereum, we have also had some pretty decent price action, and I'm looking at something very similar. So Ethereum on, what day was this, Friday? Wednesday, last Wednesday. We took out the highs at the top here. Okay, so we took out the supply at the top of the range. We got a pretty decent corrective move off of that. We found that support at the weekly briefly, but then as soon as we lost that, then it's a move all the way back down. And then again, we've just taken out some lows here down towards the lower half of the range here. So it is a decent opportunity to be looking for those long positions. You can see here coming into the 702. Having held at the 618, dropping down into the 702 before getting a bounce. I am still looking for a move up on this. I have taken a scalp short today on ETH, but that was closed out of almost immediately, to be honest. So we got the SFP off of local highs. How far can I zoom out? Off of the local highs from here, we got that SFP, and that gave us about a 0.5, 0.6% move down from there by the time I'd taken profit. Okay, so yeah, 0.6% down there, a little bit more than that, but I'm still expecting a slightly higher for the rest of the day. And then what we have up here is the POC from the 8th of December, which was disregarded as support on the way down. You would now expect that to backtest as resistance. And then once again, we could look for that move, like potentially down towards 1,100, where we do have another daily level down there. We've also got the daily level there and the single prints. So on ETH, it's kind of looking a little bit like this, where you'd be looking in towards those single prints, not necessarily to fill the whole lot, but then what we have been looking at Bitcoin is this idea, right? Move up, back down, and then something like this. Whereas on ETH, what we could expect from that is a similar kind of situation where you come into the single prints, you retrace, you come up and tap those volume POCs, and then we get that move down towards the bottom of the range. So then you're looking at something along the lines of this, where we move up, we move back down towards the lows of this range. Okay, not really expecting this, but overall I would be up towards the MPOC and then back down here. So that kind of thing, right? And who knows if that's going to play out, but that would be a potential pathway for some relatively decent trades here. Across the rest of the market, the S&P isn't looking great. Okay, the S&P isn't looking that great. This was an idea that we just drew within the trading room earlier. I do think that Q1 2023 could be pretty bearish, so do be aware of that. I'm not going to go into the macro now. But in the meantime, we are coming into the weekly level. We've basically filled these whole inefficiencies within the chart here. So you would expect at least a short-term bounce on the S&P. Maybe one more move down, just tap the weekly would be nice. But overall, yeah, soon you would like to think that there would be a bounce. On the DXY, on the other hand, you also would like to think there'd be a bounce. So this is kind of weird because markets are moving down as the dollar is moving down. And at some point, the dollar is going to rebound. And that's why I think that 2023 could be pretty bearish. So if we do continue and get a small rally, again on the S&P, on the ES, on Bitcoin, blah, 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 down into this zone here, so about 103, 102, 103, that's where I think that this downtrend could get broken and we could start to find that this flips. And then we're looking at a rally that could go into January, February, March next year, all the way back up to 110 maybe. You could be looking up here to 113, and we still do have that 116.4 target of the yearly to bear in mind. So are we going to see a big rally off of the dollar before eventually collapsing? We'll have to wait and see, but it's not looking great. The fact that we're pulling back so much on the legacy markets whilst the dollar is pulling back, and as soon as the dollar then starts to push up and starts to break this, then that could cause some pain. But we'll come to that when we get there. There are obviously going to be some good trades in the meantime. Across the rest of the market, there's really nothing too much to update on. So I will not update on that. Finally, I guess, as always, if you are new to the channel, then please do go and visit toroscrypto.com, okay, where you can find out more information about the crew. Please do hit the like button, hit subscribe. I apologize if I'm still sounding a little bit echoey in here. I am in a big room now, and it's going to take a bit of time before I got enough stuff in here to soften everything up. But yeah, have a great day. I will stream soon. So I will do a stream very soon. And yeah, that's it. So thank you and see you soon. Bye.